Coming up on Mountain News this morning, an Eastern Kentucky police officer shares his story of an unexpected situation during a simple call that left him injured. And an Eastern Kentucky family comes home to see no Christmas presents in sight after a holiday theft.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. The time is now 6:29. Oh, 6:32, wrong time. Let's check in with Brandon Robinson for a look at your forecast this morning.
Did you miss about 3 or 4 minutes there?
I did.
It's okay.
I don't know how that happened.
It's early.
Just looked at the time and
it's like, wait a minute.
Different number.
It's okay. We'll get you caught up here.
Yes.
And we'll get you caught up as well. Not a whole lot to tell you about. A few clouds out there this morning across parts of the area. We'll take a look at the satellite radar loop for the last 6 hours. And they're slowly trying to get out, especially back toward I-75 and up toward I-64. It's just a slow process. I do think we'll see some sunshine to start today, a few clouds as we head deeper into the day. And then, of course, again, back and forth through the weekend with a mix of sun and clouds. So just be ready for that as we head through the extended forecast. Now up on, or at the Mountain Parkway there, just south of I-64, it's hard to tell. It's always hard to see this camera. I don't use it a whole lot unless there's cars on it, because when there are no cars and there's no moon, it doesn't light up very well. So again, during the daytime hours, it's a beautiful camera, but again, at night, needs a little bit of light out there on it. So again, temperatures 32 in Wise to 42 in Manchester. A lot of 30s starting to show up out there this morning, limited 40s, and that's the trend across the state. We only have 140 in the entire region. Charleston, West Virginia, 36 Cincinnati, 31 Owensboro, 34 Nashville, Knoxville as well, 36 Somerset, 32 in Paducah this morning. Breakfast forecast. Bundle up. It's going to be a great day out there. Just enjoy it, even though it's going to be a bit cold and a bit breezy. Olivia?
Thank you, Brandon. An Eastern Kentucky police officer is sharing his story after being stabbed in a department store. The encounter ended with the suspect being tased and arrested. Andrew Colgrove talked with the officer about the unexpected situation.
Officer Tyler Cable has served on the Paintsville Police Department 2 years. He loves that every day of his job is different, but of course that unpredictability comes with potential danger.
It seems like I get the best of the worst.
Staff at a department store in town called police Monday, reporting a man inside was acting strange.
It was, just I guess an everyday call.
Cable says when he arrived, the suspect, Justin Fields, was eating peanuts out of a bag he hadn't paid for and appeared to be under the influence.
I asked the guy to step outside with me.
He says then Fields stabbed him in the elbow with a pocket knife that he'd hidden in the peanut bag.
He had the knife in his coat pocket on his right side. That's whenever the male subject evidently wrapped it up real quick and stabbed my arm. I pushed him off of me to get distance.
Officer Cable says then the suspect took off running, trying to get away, but the automatic exit doors didn't open for him.
So he kind of smacked into it.
The officer tased him.
It happens everywhere, just about.
Constable Bruce Ritz also responded to the call.
It kind of scared me after it was all over with.
It just blows my mind that, someone would do that, and then again, it doesn't.
They say Fields also had a needle, and he told them he had done meth before he entered the store.
And the blood started going down my arm.
The officer's wound was minor.
The adrenaline was still going, and I knew I still had a job to do to detain the guy that had stabbed me, like I said, to protect and serve the community, make sure he wasn't going to get away from me and do it somewhere else.
Grateful the wild encounter ended without anyone else getting hurt.
Justin Fields is facing a long list of charges, including first-degree assault on a police officer and public intoxication of a controlled substance. He was taken to the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center. A man was arrested in London yesterday after he tried to run from the police on a bulldozer. Officials were able to pull the door open and remove 40-year-old Casey Reed from the cab. He now faces multiple charges, including fleeing or invading police and resisting arrest. He was also charged with various bench warrants. A former Eastern Kentucky teacher who ran a cockfighting operation has been sentenced to 1 year and 1 day in jail and fined $95,000. The Lexington Herald reports 73-year-old Millard Oscar Hubbard pleaded guilty to conspiracy to defraud the U.S. Court records reveal Hubbard owned a cockfighting venue in Clay County called Riverside. The venue had stadium-style seating, storage areas for roosters, several fighting pits, and a concession stand. Hubbard's sentence includes 6 months on home arrest after he leaves jail. One family in Martin County was surprised after a Grinch stole every present under their tree. WYMT's Jordan Mullins met with the family to learn more about what happened.
On Sunday, Heather Spence of Inez and her 3 children were on a weekend getaway to Tennessee and woke up to a surprise.
I noticed my phone had camera notifications, and one of them had said a movement was notified. Movement was found in my house like at 3:37 a.m.
Spence's camera detected an intruder in her home. The person seen in this photo stole all of the family's Christmas presents and other valuables.
Like my little boy's dirt bike was sitting out here on the porch. It's gone. The PlayStation 4 is gone. The iMac computer, everything. And it was a tornado in here. It was awful.
With nothing under the tree and as a single mom of 3, Spence says Christmas will not look the same.
You know, because I work hard. I work 12 hours a night, at least 4 to 5 days a week at the hospital. And on my only days off, I work down here at the gas station. You know, I do this for my kids. They have only me. They only have me.
And adds that this story is similar to another Christmas character.
This is like the Grinch. It was like the Grinch stole Christmas. You know, he stole away my whole kid's Christmas.
But she hopes for a change of heart, or that her family is brought justice. In Martin County, Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
The Martin County Sheriff's Office and Kentucky State Police have confirmed that this is under investigation and encourage folks to call KSP Post 9 if you have any information. AAA predicts about 113 million Americans will journey 50 miles or more this holiday season. 1 out of every 3 Kentuckians is projected to travel from December 23rd through January 2nd. Reportedly, about 93% of those travelers will use their personal car. AAA experts expects the end of the 2022 holiday season to look more like it did pre-pandemic. While many are considering driving, AAA has a few tips to help with possible winter weather in the forecast.
Before you head out, make sure your vehicle, you're taking one that's been well maintained. Check those tires, check the tire pressure, check the tire tread. Make sure that your battery is good functioning. Batteries that are about 3 years, they start to be pretty iffy. It might be time for a replacement, so you want to get that checked before you head out. And of course, make sure that all your fluid levels are topped off.
AAA's biggest suggestion is that if you are planning to hit the road this holiday season, make sure to get an early start. The holidays are cheerful for some people, but they're hard for others. People dealing with loss or trauma struggle during the holiday season. Jeremy Toms talked with experts about how you can help a loved one through such a difficult time.
It's common to wish friends and family happy holidays, but Marcy Timmerman has found a new phrase this year.
Have a gentle holiday. Even if it's not super joyous, right? Even if it's not super sad, hopefully it's somewhere in the gentleness.
UK psychologist Michelle Martell says 1 in 3 people are suffering from some sort of trauma during this time of year. So it can be anything but gentle for them.
Obviously, if it's a recent loss, that's the most difficult thing to deal with around the holidays. You know, they say time heals all wounds, and that's true, but I think sometimes it takes a little longer than people would like.
For those who are facing these struggles, she suggests taking an opposite action. That could mean celebrating differently by changing up the meal, inviting friends over, or going to a different person's house.
These experts strongly recommend seeking professional help to deal with your struggles. And Martell says one of the good things that came out of the pandemic was an expansion of telehealth services for you to use.
That includes the new 988 helpline.
We are ready and braced for an increase in calls. So now that we have trained folks in the state to answer the line, it's a very different experience at 988.
But Timmerman says it's important for you to support your loved ones as well.
Being available for them, being willing to just listen, to not have to fix it, to not try to find a solution. I think those are easy things for us to say and not necessarily do as people who care about these folks, right? We want to come in and swoop in and fix it.
Timmerman says her organization offers multiple resources to help those suffering from trauma and grief.
6:42 on this Friday morning, and we're seeing the clouds trying to move out for now. They'll be back and forth throughout the day and into the weekend. But today, take the wind because we're seeing no rain, maybe some flurries flying this weekend, but for now, not too bad. That will change potentially late next week. We'll talk more about that and Maine weather coming up here in just a few minutes. Sensors out in Pikeville, Harlan, Middlesboro, and Monticello this morning, but all the other sensors online and showing those cold temperatures. We're barely hanging on to 40 in London and Prestonsburg. I expect those to drop into the 30s pretty soon. Manchester, hottest spot in the region at 42. Wise on the other end at 32 is the coldest. Out the door forecast, we are going to see some cold temperatures today comparing to where we have been recently when we're going to be below average there. 48, 47 is the average high for this time of the year. 42 if we're lucky, even with the sunshine and the clouds. And it's going to be breezy, so that could make it feel colder on your skin. Olivia?
Thank you for joining us. The time is now 6:43. Still to come on Mountain News this morning. A study shows just how many Americans deal with being given the wrong diagnosis during visits to the emergency room per year. Stay with us. That's on the way.